All right, let's dive right in to a championship clash that I think has got all the makings of a real nail-biter. Portsmouth versus Millwall, coming up on January 28th at Fratton Park. And this prediction, by the way, is brought to you by therealfl.co.uk. Now, we've got Portsmouth obviously desperate to rebound from that 5-1 drubbing by West Brom. And they're going up against a Millwall side that is consistently tough, especially when they're playing away. So could this be a recipe for a surprising draw?
It's definitely a real possibility. You see, Portsmouth's home strength is undeniable. They had 4 straight wins at Fratton Park before that West Brom match. But Millwall's away form, particularly that recent win at Luton, suggests they're not going to roll over easily. So it really does set the stage for a very, very tight contest.
Okay, so let's break this down a bit, starting with Portsmouth. They've been on a bit of a roller coaster lately. So what stands out to you about their chances in this match?
Well, their recent home form's obviously a major plus. Scoring 13 goals in 4 games at Fratton Park, that's impressive. However, we can't ignore the glaring issue. Their defense. Conceding 51 goals this season is a serious concern, and Millwall are a team that can certainly exploit those vulnerabilities.
Right, and that West Brom defeat must have been a real blow to their confidence. Can they recover mentally in time for this match?
That's the big question. A 5-1 loss can really shake a team, especially one that's battling relegation fears. They need to find a way to put that behind them and rediscover that attacking spark they showed in those previous home wins. Young Thomas Waddingham, who scored on his debut against West Brom, could be a key factor.
Yeah, he's definitely one to watch. But let's switch gears and talk about Millwall for a second. They're kind of in no man's land in the table, not really threatening the playoffs, but not in danger of relegation either. So how might that affect their approach to this game?
That's an interesting point. Being in that middle ground can be tricky. Do they play with the freedom of a team with nothing to lose? Or does it breed complacency? Their recent away form suggests they're still hungry. And their defensive solidity, only 27 goals conceded all season, makes them a tough opponent for any team.
And they've got some talent up front too. Mihailo Ivanovic, their young striker, just scored against Luton, showing that he can be a real threat.
Absolutely. While Millwall might not be the flashiest team in attack, Ivanovic's recent goal proves they can be clinical when given the opportunity. And let's not forget their resilience on the road. They've only lost 4 away games this season, which is a testament to their defensive organization and ability to grind out results.
So we've got a Portsmouth side that can score goals but are pretty shaky at the back, and a Millwall team that's well organized and can be tough to break down even on the road, given all that our prediction leans towards a draw. But before we lock that in, let's talk a bit more about this both teams to score outcome. Why does that seem so likely here?
Well, it's all about the numbers, really. Portsmouth's 51 goals conceded is the worst in the championship. And while they've tightened things up a little bit defensively recently, there are still some question marks there at the back. Now, Millwall, while defensively solid, has shown some vulnerability on the road, conceding 13 goals away from home this season.
Okay, so both teams have shown they can leak goals. But isn't a both teams to score outcome pretty common in the championship anyway?
You're right. It's a league known for its attacking football. But in this particular matchup, the styles of play just seem to amplify that likelihood. You know, Portsmouth will likely be pushing forward, especially at Fratton Park, which could leave gaps for Millwall to exploit on the counterattack.
So it could be a real end-to-end kind of match then. Now, we always like to give our listeners a little bit more to chew on. What are some of the key tactical battles or individual matchups that could decide this game?
Well, for Portsmouth, the midfield battle will be absolutely crucial. They need Marlon Pack to have a big game. His experience in defensive nous will be vital in trying to disrupt Millwall's build-up play. If he can control that tempo and provide a shield for that leaky defense, Portsmouth have a chance.
And on the Millwall side, what should we be watching for?
Keep an eye on their defensive trio, Jeffet Tanganga, Jake Cooper, and Joe Bryan. They've been a rock-solid unit all season. But they'll face a real test against Portsmouth's attacking flair.
And if we're talking about attacking flair, you can't ignore Portsmouth's recent home form. I mean, they put 3 goals past Stoke City. And Stokes have a pretty decent defensive record.
That's true. And that's why I think this match is so fascinating. You've got 2 teams with contrasting strengths and weaknesses, and it's a real toss-up as to who will come out on top.
All right, so we've got 2 teams with something to prove, a clash of styles, and the potential for goals at both ends. What's not to love about this championship matchup?
Exactly. It's why we love this league. It's unpredictable, passionate, and always delivers excitement.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive here, let's just circle back to the bigger picture for a second. Why should this particular match matter to our listeners? What's at stake beyond Just 3 points.
Well, for Portsmouth, this match is a chance to prove that the West Brom defeat was just a blip, that they're still in the fight to avoid relegation.
A win here could be a real momentum shifter for them. And what about Millwall then? What are they playing for?
Well, it's a chance for them to build on that recent win and perhaps even make a late surge towards the playoff spots. They're not out of contention just yet.
And of course, let's not forget the atmosphere. Fratton Park, under the lights, 2 passionate sets of fans. It's going to be electric.
Absolutely. This is a match that could have it all. Drama, tension, and maybe even a few goals to get the crowd roaring.
Speaking of getting the crowd roaring, let's play a little prediction game. Of all the defensive stars on Millwall's side, who do you think will be most crucial in containing Portsmouth's attack?
That's a tough one. They've all been excellent this season, but I think Japhet Tenga will have a particularly important role. He's strong, athletic, and good on the ball. He'll need to be at his best to shut down Portsmouth's wingers.
Tangika got it. Someone to keep an eye on, for sure. All right, let's quickly recap what we've learned about this Portsmouth versus Millwall clash. We've got a potential goal fest on our hands with both teams showing vulnerability at the back. But Millwall's strong away form and Portsmouth's need to bounce back from that West Brom defeat suggests a draw is the most likely outcome.
Exactly. It's a match that could truly go either way. And that's what makes it so compelling.
And for those of you who want even more in-depth analysis stats and potential lineups for this match, be sure to check out our detailed article on therealfl.co.uk.
We've got all the information you need to make an informed prediction and really enjoy this exciting championship clash.
Perfect. So to recap, Portsmouth versus Millwall, a clash of styles, a battle for points, and a match that could very well end in a draw. Be sure to check out therealfl.co.uk for all the in-depth analysis and insights you need. Until next time, keep those football boots laced up and your eyes on the prize. So we've talked about this clash of styles, and we think it could be a real goal fest. And, there's definitely enough here to keep us on the edge of our seats. But let's cut to the chase. What's the final verdict? Are we sticking with that draw prediction?
Yeah, I think so. While both teams have their strengths, the circumstances surrounding this match just point toward the stalemate for me. Portsmouth, they're desperate for points, but they're so vulnerable at the back. And then Millwall has that away form that makes them so tough to crack. It just feels like a recipe for a hard-fought draw.
All right, a draw it is. But that doesn't mean it'll be boring. As we've discussed, there's plenty of potential for excitement, goals, and maybe even a few twists and turns along the way.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of the championship, isn't it? It's a league that constantly keeps you guessing.
Now, for our listeners who want to delve even deeper into the stats, lineups, and potential scenarios for this match, where should they hit?
You can find all that and more in our detailed article on therealfl.co.uk. We've got all the information you need to make your own predictions and really enjoy this exciting championship clash.
Perfect. So to recap, Portsmouth versus Millwall, a clash of styles, a real battle for points, and a match that we think could very well end in a draw. Be sure to check out therealfl.co.uk for all the in-depth analysis and insights you need. Until next time, keep those football boots laced up and your eyes on the prize.